Welcome to Hot to Trot.
I'm your host, Ashley Eisenbeil.
This is not your normal horse racing podcast.
Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Hot to Trot. This is not your normal horse racing podcast, and I am Ashley Eisenbeil, your host of Hot to Trot, and I am really thankful today to be here with you all because we're kind of celebrating Thanksgiving and everything that we're thankful for in the horse racing industry with Linda Schadel, one of my favorite people. Linda's been great to me over the years. At the fairs is where I first met her, but got to get a lot closer to her when she'd go out to the Poconos and Harrah's. So her family and her kids have been a delight. But I am also very excited and thankful to have a very special co-host with me and also the newest member of the PHRA team, Meadow Twaddle. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I'm also very thankful to have this opportunity and be here with you. So thank you for having me.
Now, this isn't your first experience with PHRA. You actually got to go to a lot of events with us this summer, working with Jalen and Donnell and myself at thoroughbred tracks and harness tracks. Tell me, were we that hard to work with? Or I guess we were that big of a delight to work with that you wanted to work with us?
No, it was an amazing summer. It was actually the first time that I saw a thoroughbred race in person. I was mesmerized from start to finish. I remember I had to step away for a little bit just to watch the race up close, but it was a great summer. I had a lot of fun working with you guys, and now I'm even more excited to work with you guys some more.
Well, we're super excited to have you on the team and ready to get into some trouble with you because that's what we do. Who knows what we'll be up to? We got Farm Show coming up. And Farm Show is always trouble, especially when you get me around a bunch of baby goats. So you're going to be in the baby goat pen with me a lot because that's where you could usually find me, and Donnell and Jalen would be texting us. Where are you? Left me in the booth by myself again. Yeah, we're with the baby goats.
Bring on the baby goats. I'm ready.
Well, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself. You recently graduated from college.
Yes, so I went to Washington and Jefferson College. It's a very small college here in Washington, Pennsylvania. I'm a homebody, so I knew that I had to be close to home. I actually studied psychology, but I took a different route than most people do. I had an emphasis in consumer behavior, and actually I took a semester to study equine studies as well. So I studied marketing a lot. I studied horses a lot. I studied how to market to people. So it was really fun. I kind of formed my own program. So it was a really good experience, but that led me into an internship with the Meadow Standardbred Owners Association over the summer. I worked with Tasha McCormick, the director of marketing for the MSOA. I ran their social media platforms. I did a lot of promotional events. I worked with them for all of their big race days. So it was really fun, and I'm excited to take what I learned from the MSOA and use it with the PHRA.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to tap into your knowledge, and I love the whole psychology about it because there is so much psychology in marketing and how people perceive your industry, your ads, your messaging. So I'm going to learn something from you. I haven't been in school for a long time, so excited to have somebody young and recently out.
Yes, I'm excited to share. When I say I studied psychology and now I work in marketing, a lot of people look at me weird, but I promise it all ties in together. There's a ton of psychology in marketing, so just give me a minute to explain.
Tell us more about your family and what made you want to actually work in the industry.
So my dad, Tim Twaddle, he is a trainer. He has his own stable, and my mom works alongside with him. I wanted nothing to do with the horses for the longest time. I had no interest until about 2 years ago. My dad needed an extra set of hands in the barn, so I was first up. And ever since I stepped foot in the barn, my love for horses just grew. I was obsessed ever since then. And the horse itch never really went away all throughout college. So I did finish and get my degree, but I wanted to follow my passion in my heart and work with the horses and promote it to people. And get people to know what horse racing is, and there's so much more to it than just what you see on TV. So that's what I try and show people.
Absolutely. And you have a couple siblings, right?
I do. I have my younger sister, Lexi. She's 20. She goes to Walsh University and she studies biology, so completely opposite of what I can do. And my brother, Parker, he is 16. He is a junior in high school.
Well, I always loved the Twaddle family whenever I went out to the meadows. You guys were always so cute, all dressed up, all in your purple matching family outfits.
Yeah.
It's been like 9 years ago is when I started going out there for the audio. So it's been a while. Kind of got to see you grow up a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited to have you with us and actually on the podcast helping me co-host because God knows I need help.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Oh, well, I'm just going to plug a little bit. We have a Black Friday sale. So anybody looking for their Hot to Trot merch or for their Pennsylvania horse racing merch, we have some harness racing t-shirts for PA and some thoroughbred racing t-shirts for PA. And we have, of course, the podcast merch. You can buy that at 30% off on both Friday, Black Friday, and also Small Business Saturday. So log on to the website. We'll have it all there with the link and take advantage of the 30% off. And I will personally be bagging and shipping all of your orders. So please order away. I can't wait to send it all out. Everyone shop. I know you do a lot of shopping. You're going to be doing a lot of shopping, right? Black Friday?
I will be doing a lot of shopping on Black Friday. my bank account won't be too happy, but it's, you got to do it.
I miss the old Black Friday, like where you actually had to go to the stores at midnight.
Yeah.
I loved that. It was so much fun.
Well, my mom never let me do that. So now that I'm an adult, I have free will. I can do whatever. But growing up, I couldn't do that.
Your mom wasn't a Black Friday midnight shopper then?
No. She was like, whatever you want, we can get online. You're not going with your friends at midnight to the mall.
I would be at the outlets at like 10 o'clock so we could get a parking spot, the outlets in Lancaster, with old women who were drinking boxed wine and would also have Tupperware of like their whole Thanksgiving dinner. They'd have Santa Claus hats on. They were like ready to roll.
Ready.
Like they were out of the gate. They were hot. They had each store, everyone had like printout lists of like, this lady had like an Excel spreadsheet of exactly what stores in the outlets, where they were and what like the discount was. So which ones they needed to hit first.
Oh my God.
I was like, I want to roll with you guys every day. Like I strive to be you. I want to be a shopper like them, pulling up in that minivan, tailgate at the outlets. They don't do it anymore. Nothing's open.
Yeah. Was it like it is in the movies where people getting violent and jumping on top of each other for the half off TVs or whatever?
Oh yeah. Not even gonna lie. I stood for an hour and a half with my hand on a trampoline. Because there was only so many. And you would stand with your hand on like the one that you got there.
Yeah.
I was like fourth down. I'm like, nope. The fourth one's spoken for.
Ready to throw hands with anyone.
I know, but I was like so dumb because it was the biggest trampoline ever. And there was like I had no guy with me. And I'm like, how am I moving this thing? It's in Walmart.
We'll figure that out later.
I just dragged it into the like makeup aisle and stood there until my friends came to me. I was like, how are we doing this? It's not fitting on a cart.
Oh,
we ended up just sliding it to the checkout across the ground. The good days. Now you just buy everything online.
Yeah.
I want to feel the sweater that I might punch somebody in the face for if they get my size.
Yeah, I want to experience it, but maybe we should just go do it. Let's just go.
Maybe. I mean, I remember I would never go to Old Navy because I heard people would get like punched for the fleeces and the pajama pants.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going in the Old Navy. They're thugging there.
It gets down in the Old Navy.
Old Navy shoppers, they have some serious plans. Those $5 pajamas are no joke. And everybody and the second cousin's getting them.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's enough on shopping. I think we should get to our episode and this great interview that we have with Linda Schadel. I hope you guys enjoy it. We enjoyed having her, and we hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we are also so thankful for having our listeners.
All right. Hi, Linda. Welcome to Hot to Trot. We're so excited to have you with us here today. So let's kick it off. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got started in the industry?
Oh, well, I grew up in the industry. My parents actually were from Australia, and they moved over and they raised horses. And so I grew up doing it, and it's just all I've ever done. I went to college thinking that, maybe I would go off and do something else. And nope, that really wasn't the plan. I came back to it and then started dating Tony and moved up here with him. And this is where I am.
Random question. Did you not pick up any of the Australian accent from your parents?
No, I didn't. I mean, there's random little sayings I say that Tony will tell me, like, what is that? And I'm like, I guess it's Australian, but being that I was born here and, lived here my whole life, I don't have that.
I would have never guessed that you were born in Australia and came over here.
I had no idea.
A lot of people don't know that about me. I mean, yeah, it's a hidden little secret.
Do you ever go and visit?
I was there when I was a teenager, but I never went back. I'm trying to talk Tony into it. My kids really would like to go, but he's just kind of sticking his toes down and doesn't want to do it. But I'll get him talked into it here one of these years.
It's a long flight.
Yeah.
It would take me some convincing.
I'm sure it's all worth it, though. But you have to split it up. You have to do like my sister does it, and she goes to Hawaii and stays there for a couple days and then go to Australia. So I got to do it that way.
Oh, I'm there. Like you said, that sounds like the travel plan.
Yeah, split it up.
So you mentioned Tony, and Tony is your husband, and you guys work hand in hand in your stable together. How is that dynamic, working with your husband?
It's very good, really. I mean, we get along great. I'm a very easygoing person. I can't say everybody would get along with Tony so well, but we make it work. Some days are frustrating, but most days are just fine.
Is there certain things that like you wear the pants on?
I mean, I would say I'm more of the barn manager, and I would say that I kind of say this is what's happening today. But that's about it. I mean, we basically do everything together. We jog together, we train together, we work together.
That's what I was going to ask. My dad's name is on the barn, but when my mom steps in, she calls the shots. So I wanted to know if that was kind of the same thing you had going on.
Yeah, it is. I mean, hey, somebody's name has to be on there, and you have to realize that husband and wife most of the time work as a team. And that's what we do. And just like your parents do, I know they do. I've seen them in action. And yeah. Tony likes it that way, though, that I manage, and he just kind of goes, where am I going today? What am I doing? He really likes that.
Yeah. So do you have your kids working in the barn as well?
Lizzie's been helping out a lot more now that she's getting ready to turn 15. So she's older, but she's got such a busy schedule that I can never get her there. But in the summer, she'll help us out at the fairs and things like that. James, he's only 11, and horses aren't as quiet as I remember when I was young. Like horses seemed easier to jog, I feel like, when I was younger. They were more relaxed. I feel like they're a little more high-strung these days, so I don't quite trust it. He's jogged a few, and he helped us out a little bit, but he's still small.
Do you think either of them will end up being in the industry like you've?
I kind of believe he will be. He likes it. It's too early to tell. I really don't think Lizzie will be, maybe as an owner. I think she's going to go on and go to college. And right now she wants to be a small animal vet. So, hopefully she could be in the industry in some way. Maybe she doesn't want to be a horse vet, but
We need more vets. That's one thing
Yes.
that all industry needs is more vets. And plus, Lizzie has a beautiful voice. She sings the national anthem for a lot of the fairs.
She does, yeah. I'm really proud of her about that. I think she gets better every time she does it. She's very musically inclined. I think she plays maybe 5 instruments, and she's always trying to pick up another one. So, yeah, she's very musical.
It's always great when our kids get to actually be involved with the sport. I know my oldest son for a little bit was doing some of the track photography at the fairs. And the fairs is a great place to like start them out young and get hands-on.
Absolutely.
Aiden loved running around at the fairs and like cleaning tack for people and getting water buckets, getting water in water buckets. He just loved it. And he'd make $4 or $5 from some of the guys. Gary.
Well, James, he makes money from his Uncle Todd, especially. He'll go and buy a program for $1 and then tell Uncle Todd, hey, programs are $2. So.
Speaking of fairs, you had a great go at the fairs. Give us a little bit of the highlights of this season. I know we've had a couple horses this year at the Meadows be the champion at the end, and talk to us about that experience.
Well, so we had a Payson filly, Milagro, that won the fair final, and she just we bought her at Harrisburg and kind of didn't really mean to buy her. We bought her, and she ended up turning around to be something special. And the one that raced with her, Tina's Wish, I like her a lot. She's a nice filly. And then we had some Payson colts that they finished 1-2 for the fair standings, and they like to do their job. And same way with the Trotting fillies. I had 2 Trotting fillies that finished 1-2 for their standings, and I'm really proud of them. They like to go out and, Tony and I would take 6 horses to the fairs, and most of the time it was just me and him, and they didn't give me a hard time. We'd get them warmed up, we'd get them raced, and it was just fun.
So you mentioned that you bought Milagro at Harrisburg. Will we see you at Harrisburg this year? And do you have your eyes on anything special?
We'll be there. It's only 45 minutes from home.
Yeah.
Now, Tony tells me every day we're not going. He actually told me today that, I don't like the yearlings. The yearlings are yours. I'm like, really? They're mine. He's, well, until they're 2-year-olds, then they're mine, he said. I'm like, oh. So he is not a yearling person. He would much rather have an older horse, take it, put it in the box, ready to go. He has no patience in horse racing. So he doesn't want to wait the 9 months. So, but we'll be there. He says we're not buying any. We already have 3 yearlings. That's enough. But we need 2 or 3 more.
Well, you'll be the judge of that, I guess, whenever you get there.
We'll be there.
I think you're coming back with a few more. Get the trailer ready.
Yeah, we will.
So talking about fairs, tell me and the listeners more about what you think the importance of the fair racing here in PA is for the industry and why we're so grateful for it.
Well, I think it's great for everybody. It's great for kids. They can go, like Lizzie, for example, she can go and she can help me. She's only 14. She's been helping now at least since she was 12, and she learns how to get them ready. I mean, at the racetrack, she can't go and be there until she's 16. So when she is 16, she's going to know what she's doing. And also, I think it's the same for the horses, that sometimes these horses aren't quite ready to go to the racetrack and compete against all the other ones. So the fairs kind of gives them a chance to learn it and put it all together. And then they can go to the racetrack and they might know what they're doing a little bit more.
Do you have a favorite memory at one of the fairs or a favorite fair to race at in general?
I really like racing at Honesdale. Everybody there is just fantastic. Jeff Firmstone and the Martins, everybody that's there, they're just great. So I really love the atmosphere there. But I would say my favorite fair to race at is Graz because it's only 4 miles from my house.
You can walk there.
So, yeah, I actually have ran home from there many times. Just, hey, Tony, drop me off at the fairgrounds. I'm going to run home. It's downhill. It's nice, So, but yeah, I would say that's my favorite.
What's your favorite track that's not a fair? Anywhere, you could go anywhere in the world. Harness racing track.
Anywhere in the world, and my favorite track, I really like the Meadows. I'm not a big fan of the hill at the Meadows,
Yeah, that's a killer.
but I love the paddock. I love the people. I really do like it. Yes. Yeah.
I love the Meadows too.
Hmm.
I love your guys' apron because
Yes, it was fun out there at the fair final. Actually, when we were in pretty early, so we were done, and the girl that works for me, her family had actually came out because she got a piece of a horse this year, and her family came out to watch. So when we were done, she said, "Do you think we can go over?" And I said to Tony, "We're going over for a couple races." And he's like, ready to leave. I'm like, Just chill out. We'll be back."
it has such a nice atmosphere on their patio with embers and the seating and the fire pits, and I don't know, gives a good fan vibe.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
they do a really nice job with getting people out and putting on events and stuff.
They really do. Tell us a little bit more. Like the family atmosphere, as you were talking, your groom was, talking about going over to see her family. Our industry has such a core family value. I say, like, if you are in harness racing, like you're part of the community that no one really understands. We all, come together when others need us within the industry. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what that means to you and any examples that you have seen in the past where our harness community has really banded together to help each other?
I mean, everybody does come together because really they are good friends. Most of my good friends are from the racetrack, and I don't get to see them because they might live an hour and a half from Poconos and I live an hour and a half from Poconos in the other direction. So therefore I don't ever get to see them. But you're right, like everybody is just very close, and they want everybody to do well, and they're rooting for each other and things like that.
Yeah, I have an example. When the thing happened at Tioga and with the barn fire, I just
Oh,
seeing
absolutely.
our whole industry band together to help those horsemen. It was amazing to see. And you don't have to be in the same state as us. If you're a horseman, we're there for you.
No, I'm sure there was lots of people that didn't even know some of the people that were in there. But
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to see that happen to anybody. And whatever you can do to help support them is, you do it.
Yeah. Social media for the industry just goes to work when it comes to those charitable givings and like getting the word out.
It does. Absolutely.
So, what are some skills or anything really that you've learned in the industry that you're going to try and pass on to your kids?
Patience. You have to have patience in this industry. So if they're going to do that, I need to pass that on to them.
I hope you pass on your killer dance moves.
My killer dance moves. I think Lizzie has better ones than me.
I don't know. I've seen you break down that dance floor a couple times at the fair banquet.
I like to dance.
Oh, that's funny. I feel like there's a lot.
Sorry, I had to throw it in there.
That's okay.
I feel like there's a lot that you can't learn until you're hands-on in the barn. It's easy to talk about, but once you're actually doing something, that's when you really start to learn and pick up those skills that, you carry without you.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why it's hard for me right now to tell my son how to do things in the barn, because he has to actually do them for himself. I mean, he's great at feeding and haying horses. He can do that, and I'm thankful I have him, because there's days we're not here and my 11-year-old's just taking care of everything in the barn, and he can handle that. But until he can get the strength to sit behind the horses and jog them, that's when he'll really learn it.
Right.
Yeah. You're exactly right. You need to be hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a specific horse that has crossed paths or you've had that has really made a difference in your career or life that you are extremely grateful that came into your life?
Well, I've had quite a few horses in my life that I've just really loved and have been thankful for. I had a horse once. His name was Springboard. I called him Ricky. He was like my kid. I had him before I had kids. So he was he was like my kid. I cried my eyes out. We had him since he was a yearling. I cried my eyes out when he got claimed when he was 5 or 6. I found out where he lived on the rest of his life, which he had a very good home with Miles Woolham out in Ohio, and he's buried there on his farm. So he was just a very special horse to me. I did a lot of his jogging and training on my own without Tony like there helping me at all. He was just mine. So I love that horse. And then I will say we have a broodmare right now. Her name is Fanny's Photo, and she has given me a lot of special horses. We had a horse named Photo Bomber out of her, and he was just my pet. He had a lot of personality, and I loved him a lot. And another horse, Focus Pocus, that he was just my pet as well, and he went on to do great things. He's still doing great things. But I've had a lot of good horses that they may not have been good to somebody else, but they were good to me as far as, how they were in the barn. And like I said, with Fanny's Photo, she didn't race very long. We had her and she didn't race very long. She didn't make a lot of money, but she went on to produce about 9 or 10 horses, and they've all made me some money. And they've been nice horses to work with.
Love a good mare. A good broodmare is
hard to come by.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have maybe too many broodmares at the moment. We have 6 broodmares here, and
Oh, wow.
it's fun raising the babies, but it's a long process.
It's gonna be a long foaling season, a lot of late nights.
Yes.
Are you out in the barn doing the foaling, or is Tony helping you?
Well, we're both there. I think this year we actually delivered our first, where we had to get in there and start pulling. And I think Tony was a little bit like, you do it. And I did, but that got to a certain point where I said, I'm not quite strong enough. You better get over here and do this. But normally we kind of keep them out in the field and just let them foal naturally. And most of the time we wake up in the morning and there's a baby.
Wow.
That's awesome. I do a lot with the foal cams, and I hold my breath during that whole process sometimes.
Yeah, it's nice to watch when everything goes well. When it's not going well, it's not fun.
But it's nice that you let Mother's Nature take its course. Like, these animals were built to have their foals in fields. They've been doing it for centuries. So I do appreciate
We've been lucky with the way it's all worked out and everything. Sometimes we will bring them in if we have one foaling very early in the winter. Well, we don't really want them out there foaling when it's freezing out, so we'll bring them in and things like that. But for the most part, they stay out.
So, do you have any advice that you would give to anyone in the industry, especially women? I know it's kind of tough being a woman in the industry. We're severely outnumbered by the men. So what's something that you would tell other women also working with horses?
I wouldn't worry about being a woman. You can do everything a man can do,
Absolutely.
Like I said earlier with Tony, yeah, maybe Tony's a little bit stronger at things than I am, but that's okay. But I don't worry about it. It's not a thing to me, I don't worry about it.
That's a good way to look at it.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I love that you do it all from foaling.
Well, and that's the thing is that's what I see when I go to the barn in the morning. There isn't anything that Tony does all day long that I don't do.
Mm-hmm.
We both go and we both go and do our thing, and we both are cleaning stalls, and we both are jogging, and we both are training. Kind of when we're done with that, I go and I set up feed and I kind of see what needs to be done in the barn, and he might go take care of the track, but that's just what he does and that's what I do. But I don't sit there and go, well, I'm not going to train this horse or I'm not going to jog this horse. Well, they're in here, they need done. If he goes to the racetrack, I'm going to do them. If I go to the racetrack, he's going to do them. So it's kind of all treated the same.
You guys are a good team.
Yeah.
You're a good couple to look up to in the industry, and how you guys run your your business and your family. You have great kids, so admire you guys a lot.
Oh, thank you.
So you've made it through our hard part. Well,
Oh
I
boy.
guess people say this is the hardest part, is the
Coming
hot
up is
seat.
the hardest part?
Yeah, the
Oh
hot
boy.
seat. Our rapid fire, as you drink water, is that water?
Yeah. Well, maybe.
You're going to need the courage. Our rapid fire questions, you're going to answer them as quick as you can.
Oh,
Don't
I'm
think too
terrible at
hard.
rapid fire.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to kick it off with, what was the first car you owned?
A Honda Civic.
I have a Honda Civic.
What color?
Gray.
I have a gray Honda Civic.
I had it for like 4 months and then I think it blew up and then I drove my dad's stick shift dually all the time. Yeah, that's how I went to school.
I could never drive a stick shift. Good for you, because I could never.
Oh, I'm gonna teach my Lizzie's already learning how to drive a stick shift.
Good for
because you know
her.
what? I think her first car should be a stick shift because that way you cannot text and drive while you're driving a stick.
Yeah, you can't. You have to
No.
think, especially with a truck, because I learned how to drive my high school boyfriend's Jeep Wrangler stick shift. And then when he went to boot camp, he left it to me for the time he was at boot camp. So I drove that thing everywhere. I did blow out the clutch once, and his dad had to replace it, but his dad worked at a dealership for Jeep. So, I mean,
no big deal.
It worked out. I'm pretty sure his dad like hated me the whole time we dated after that. But yeah, I can't drive car stick shifts now. I can only drive trucks.
Oh, okay.
I don't get the feel.
Yeah, it is different. I mean, I think it's easier in a car because the Honda I had was a stick shift as well, and I think it's just a little bit easier. I don't drive a stick shift now. No, automatics.
All right, next question. If you're not in the barn, where can we find you?
I would say either picking my kids up from practices or running.
I cannot run, so good for you.
Linda will run at 10 degrees at the banquet in Bedford and the snow is coming down. And then when you see, like, you're inside next to a fire, you go look out the window. There's Linda running as we're drinking coffee at 6:30 in the morning.
I keep warm that way.
It could never be me.
Like,
So
geez, Linda. Go lay down. Take a nap like the rest of us. Relax. All right. If PA Harness Racing had a yearbook, who do you think you would be voted as? Best dancer, class clown, or best barn hair?
Well, I'm going to go with the dancer because you told me I was, busting a move or whatever I was doing.
I would have voted you best dancer for sure.
Okay.
If you could switch lives with any celebrity for the day, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. Any celebrity for the day. I really don't have an answer for this one. Maybe Jennifer Aniston because she's gorgeous and she just seems like such a wonderful woman.
That means she has to do your barn work and you get to live in her life.
Okay, I'd like to see that one happen.
Agreed. What is the best Thanksgiving side dish?
That would be, I make I don't know what it's called, but I make cauliflower, carrots, and broccoli covered in cheese with crackers on top, and it is amazing.
I want that recipe.
I'll send it to you.
We'll share it with our podcast viewers too.
Yeah, my family always requests that, and I think I make a sweet potato casserole. They always request that. So those are my things I have to bring.
I love sweet potato casserole too.
Yeah, it's pretty good too.
Thanksgiving is my favorite time of season.
Well, it's coming up.
Where is your dream vacation and are you taking the kids with you?
My dream vacation is anywhere warm. Hopefully Australia
Yeah.
And yes, the kids are coming with me. We're going on vacation this winter, and they're coming with us to the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
And I'm actually amazed that they're coming because my kids do not like to take off school. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they don't like to take off school.
Oh.
Yeah.
That also could never be me.
Yeah, it was never me either. I'd take off any day, you know, you
Yeah.
give me, but
So will mine.
I don't know what's wrong with them.
You're raising them different.
I know.
Well, I'll go with you to the Bahamas. If they don't want to take off school, I'm fine. I'll take off work. Meadow, you're in charge.
I got it.
So I'm running. I'll run from PHRA. I'm going to the Bahamas with you guys.
Yeah, I have them talked into it, so they're taking off. But I'll probably catch hell from them that, oh, they have so much to make up and they miss this or that. Oh, well, they'll have fun.
Well, if anybody changes their mind, you have a stand-in.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, that does it for this episode of Hot to Trot. We are very thankful that you joined with us today, Linda, and super excited to see what comes out of these horses I know that you'll be getting at the sale in the next year. We'll be keeping an eye on them.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Linda.
You have a great day.
You too. Bye, Meadow.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to the Standardbred Breeders of Pennsylvania for sponsoring Hot to Trot. We'll see you next time.